Ireland is sort of steeped in this type of tradition, isn't it? The occult or the mystery.
Well, it certainly is in the simple mystery of ghosts, but I think it has faded away a bit in recent years since the ESB came in fact.
You're going to bring me on the trail now, anyway.
I'd like to start you off, if I may, with Kytlers Inn. Now, Kytlers is here in Kilkenny, and it has got a tradition of witchcraft.
This is where Dame Alice Kytler lived. She married the wealthiest man in Kilkenny, a man with the name of William Outlaw. Some years later, she married 3 others. It is alleged that she poisoned the 4 husbands. She had children of those, and the children, rather worried, they complained to the Bishop of Ossory, a man with the name of Dr. de Ledred, of the goings-on of their mother. Now, ecclesiastical court was set up. Dame Alice was tried for witchcraft, also Petronilla, her lady-in-waiting, and the eldest son, William Outlaw. And although she had the Chancellor of Ireland defending her, the case went against her. In the course of evidence, it was stated that she used to sacrifice living animals to a demon named Robin, who used to appear here in the house. Petronilla was sentenced to be burned at the stake. She was burned at the stake on the site now known as the Thornsill, and at the burning she confessed that they had conferred with demons and had received responses at all times. She admitted to the witchcraft. Petronilla was dead. Dame Alice, she escaped to England, changed her name, and of course in those far-off days, very hard to trace anybody. That is briefly the story of Dame Alice.
You said, a surprising thing earlier on, that since the ESB came on the scene, the old ghost thing hasn't been what it used to be.
This is exactly the point, that ESB shed such light on the subject. The electricity in Ireland dispelled the gloom, and in fact the gloom was conducive to ghost stories, and I think this is what we've lost, and I do think it's a bit of a pity. This is Longfield House. Bayan Coney died 100 years ago here. Now, most people realise that Bayan Coney was the originator of public transport in Ireland, and he came from Italy before that. There was quite an affection, a close friendship between Bayan Coney and Daniel O'Connell, and in fact since that time some of the descendants of each have intermarried. But the importance of this house from my point of view is that it has a reputation of ghosts and of hauntings.
Well, I think the main story connected with Bianconi is probably around the time when he died. Apparently he died at 4 o'clock in the morning on the 22nd of September, and immediately he died, all the stable doors blew open and the horses bolted and the dog started barking, and at the same time a carriage was heard to come up the avenue, which at 4 o'clock in the morning would be rather unusual. And apparently it's meant to come up the avenue every morning, or every year at 4 o'clock in the morning on the 22nd of September to collect Bianconi. It was the hearse.
We're coming now to Horetown House. It's a 17th century mansion, and it was at the centre of the last battle of 1798. There are ghostly tales connected with this battle.
The story as we heard it concerned a young girl of 12 who, with her brother and her mother, hid in a field of wheat to escape the fighting that went on during the 1798 rebellion. Now, exactly 50 years later, on the exact same date, the 20th of June, this young girl, who was now a grown woman, was travelling along the same road with her young grandson of 8 years of age, in a donkey and cart, and the story says that she was carrying a large crucifix. Suddenly she was overtaken by a rain and thunderstorm, and the donkey appeared to hear something supernatural because it got the bit between its teeth and suddenly took off. They suddenly found themselves in the middle of the battle, which had been enacted exactly 50 years previously, on the very same date. They could hear the horses thundering all around them, the clash of pikes, and then the sounds of the wounded and the dying. The old lady held up the crucifix and tried to shield the little boy with her cloak. The ghostly battle sounded and rolled all round them as they proceeded over by Raheen to the Cross of Stone Inn, down to Goff's Bridge, and only finally died away when they came to the rising ground a little further on. This green road here still has a very eerie reputation in the neighbourhood.